I'm sorry, excuse me.
Welcome to the modern Charbelcher, guys. This is the deck that I play when I drink. Uh, this is legitly the troll deck, other than like Blood Moon and some other kinds of decks that I play when I just really am tired of testing Zoo and I've got other options. And it's just sort of one that I can play. I have fun. People kind of hate. I probably don't get to play a game 2 or 3 because they just leave the lobby. But it's a lot of fun to play. It comes out of left field. No one's really expecting it. It's really funny because it's not like, in Legacy, you're always expecting a Charbelcher and you got the Force of Will, and it's not that big of a deal, generally. But in Modern, it's just like, no one expects it because it's like out of left field. A lot of the new Modern players from Standard don't like know what Charbelcher is, and that if it resolves, you're probably dead. But it is pretty funny, and it's not like the Legacy version, which is just like a really, really, really stupid deck where you're like, oh, here's my Charbelcher, there's my deck, you're dead. It does do that, but it doesn't do it before like turn 4 or something. So it plays fair modern rules, but it is still a very stupid deck. And the cool thing is, it costs only about $20 on paper, and in online, it actually costs like, I think $13, $12. It's like pennies, because the only rare in your entire deck is Charbelcher. Other than that, it's all commons. Oh, no, Chancellor of the Tangle's a one. But let's go over this deck, because it's obviously the weirdest looking deck in existence. Alright, so your aim is to get a Charbelcher out, and then tap it, and win the game. That's what you're trying to do. You do have a side plan, which is that Chancellor of the Tangle. You'll notice 7 is the magic number in this deck. Chancellor of the Tangle can do the same thing. It attacks enough and kills. So it doesn't tap, but it attacks. While having the added bonus of being able to give you green mana. But we'll get to that. So Charbelcher is what you're going to want. Pithing Needle, I've got it in the main deck because it covers a lot of bases. It turns off Planeswalkers. It turns off a lot of creatures for a while. It turned on Deathrite Shaman. The big one is it turns off Qasali Pride Mage, and with Zoo existing now, you'll see more Qasali Pride Mages. So that's just an extra card added in, basically. Now you've got Mana Producers and Mana Seekers. You'll see that there's only 7 lands in the deck, and your goal is to try to get out those lands out of your deck as fast as possible. Now, they don't need to be in play. They don't need to be in your hand. They can be in your graveyard, whatever. They just can't be in your deck. Statistically, the more forests you eliminate out of that, the better of the chances for the kill. And I mean, I've been able to pull it off with like 4 forests in the deck before. But again, if you can get all 7 gone, it's godly. You'll win every time. So that's the goal, is to get those 7. And we have a weird mana producer here, which is Arbor Elf and Utopia Sprawl. This allows you basically to get a ton of boosted mana very early on. You'll note this deck is super good at getting a ton of turn 1 mana, and then turn 2 and turn 3 it's like one at a time. But that's like, it's like a big boom, and they don't know what's going on. You've already shaved off a lot of your stuff, and then you drop the Charbelcher and you win. And that's where a lot of these other ones come in. You'll see Chancellor Spires gives you just 1 mana right away, while also doubling as a win condition. Gate Creeper Vine says that when it enters the battlefield, you can find a basic land card and put it into your hand. That's what you're getting. Sequoia Tribe-Elder says the same thing, except it comes into play tapped. Ancient Stirrings is how you find land and also Charbelcher. So it's more being able to find your win condition. You generally want to use it after you've eliminated a lot of lands so that you've got a better chance of getting the Charbelcher. Caravan Vigil, Lay of the Land, are all 1 mana, and also Safe Right Quests are all 1 mana ways to get more force out of your deck. Search for Tomorrow is another 1 mana way, but you can cast it for its full to also get a mana out of your deck. Recross the Paths, Rampant Growth are your higher end ones. Rampant Growth is just, again, like another Sakura Tri-Builder. But Recross the Paths is a little interesting. The fact that it can, when used after getting your land, you can go ahead and reorganize your entire library however you want to do it. There's been many times that I've won against a control deck by casting Recross the Path, saying I failed to find, show them my entire deck, grab the 4 Charbelchers, put them on the top of my library, and go, there we go, 4 turns, how many counters you got? Sideboard is a little weird, but it basically just does the one thing, because this deck is so weird and so left field and so dependent on that one specific mode of attack. You have to defend it. It's a combo deck. Elixir of Immortality helps you against Mill, while also helping you against Zoo and stuff. Wheel of Sun and Moon, again, is anything that deals with the graveyard helps you against. For Autumn's Veil is there for the counter spells. Yes, it says that creatures I control can't be killed by blue or black spells, but that's also not important at all in this deck. Except for, I guess, occasionally with Chancellor of the Spire or Chancellor of the Tangle. It's more for the can't be countered. You wait till you've got 5 mana, then you drop the Charbelcher with your 1 mana counter spell. Beast Within is a cure-all answer that does a lot of various amounts of things. Nature's Claim is how you go ahead and stop things like Leyline of Sanctity. So alright, so let's get a game loaded up and see how stupid this deck can actually be. We have a keepable hand here. Because we've got to turn 1 mana into Lay of the Land, which we can then put into a Arbor Elf. So we're going to keep it. And then we got like a ton of Utopia Sprawls we can do here. So we're going to go ahead and Markshamars the use of that. So we're going to Lay of the Land, get ourselves out of Forest, put that Forest into play. Tap it and put a Utopia Sprawl on it. Then next turn we will put out an Arbor Elf with it, as well as put more Utopia Sprawl on it. We're just playing a ton of counterspell decks today. What is this? He's casting a Wall of Omens. That's not going to do anything against us. Hey, we naturally drew a forest. That's actually good for us, because now we can go ahead and use the forest to put out a Utopia Sprawl on that forest. Then we have access to 3 mana, which we can use for Arbor Elf and Pithing Needle, I suppose, because we could recross the path. But it'd be better to have out the Arbor Elf, because then maybe we just put out the Chancellor of Spires next turn. And I got nothing to Pithing Needle right now, so I don't want to call a Pithing Needle out, target out, that I have absolutely no. I could call like Scalding Tarn or something and screw him with mana. But yeah, he's got a basic, so it doesn't really matter. If he taps out here, we have access to 7 mana, so we just put out Chancellor of Spire and win the game. Sometimes Chancellor of Spire wins games. And that, yeah, it's gonna do it. Whatevs. That's fine. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to Ether Safe Right quest here, grab ourselves a forest, put it into play. We've got 3 more forests. That's our forest count. Really doesn't matter. Put that forest into play. We're going to go ahead and recross the paths over here. We are getting on his nerves, though. I can totally tell. Search for tomorrow. So we're probably just going to go ahead and hard cast the search for tomorrow. Yes. meaning we only have one more thing in our deck for it. At this point, I can hard cast 2 Chancellor of the Spires next turn. If he does not have the counterspells, he probably loses. If he does, he probably does not lose. Recross the Paths is a cool card. I could try to just cast Chancellor of the Spires here. I could recross the Paths, and that will give me 1 mana, but it won't do anything worth it. I'll hold the recross the Paths. Maybe Mana Leaks, he Mana Leaks, whatever. I got it out of his hand at least. Either Safe Right Quest, again, won't do exactly what I want it to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and try out for the Chancellor of Spires again. Could have Control, whatever. It looks like it sticks, so that's going to be doing that. I might hit a Path to Exile, that's fine. I have 2 more things in my graveyard? Sure. Sphinx's Revelation for 2 is not that scary, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands in play, which means I have 2 more, so I could go ahead. I'm holding this so that I could do it next turn and then redo my Belcher stuff. I really could care less about those attacks. Maybe he's trying to like dismember it or something. Supreme Verdict, ooh, not that scared. There we go. Lay of the Land's exactly what we wanted to see here. Well, actually, I think I probably prefer... let's see, View Library. Grab out a forest. We're going to go ahead and play that. We're going to play the Aetheryte quest. Grab out another forest. Close it. Then I'm going to go ahead and play the Recross the Paths. Cool, so I'm going to go check my entire library. Let's just do it this way. Reveal library to all players. All players, we're going to go ahead and grab our Belchers now. Again, so what you guys know what I'm doing, I'm failing to find. Literally, I'm saying I cannot find this. And we're going to go and take our... Let's see, Chancellors of the Spires, whatever they're called, out. Then I'm going to go ahead and put these on the top of my library, and then these guys on the top of my library. So what that does is, since I failed to find and I had no lands in my library, I could put them back in any order I like, and I'm putting all my Belchers on top. So he'd have to have a counterspell for each and every turn I do. Good game, good game. And then now we're going to do our sideboard tech. He's siding in Leyline of Sanctity, I think, could probably... that means counterspells, obviously. So we're going to put in our Nature's Claims, and we are going to take out Pithing Needles, because I didn't see any Planeswalkers, so I don't feel like I need them. And we're going to take out the Rampant Growths and one Search for Tomorrow. And that'll bring us back. So we're going to be leaning heavily on these Autumn Veils. If I don't see that he's got anything that I need to use Nature's Claim for, I'll be surprised. Generally, they've got Stony Silence, or they've got Leyline of Sanctity. So there's 2 big cards there that I'm thinking I'm probably going to see. I have no way to get access to this mana right now, so I'm going to have to mulligan. And we got access to a lot of mana here, plus a way to win and a Nature's Claim, so we're going to keep it. I hope he puts out a turn 1 Leyline of Sanctity. That would be awesome for me. We also have the winning thing here. So what we're going to want to do here is have, hopefully, well, drawing another Charbelcher is nice. I would have loved to have a little bit more to do. Actually, let's not do that. Let's put out the Score Tribe Elder with this. So, yeah, we're going to use Caravan next turn. We'll have 3 mana. Next turn, 2 mana. Yeah, 2 mana, and then we'll get the Caravan for the 3rd mana next turn. So we draw an Autumn's Veil here. That would be the best. We do not. We're going to go ahead and use the Vine Creeper. And we're going to cast the Caravan Vigil. If it wants to counter any of those spells, I really don't care. The deck is so redundant when it comes to those that it would be stupid. We have 1 mana that we're going to put in our hand, right? Cool. So I could throw out a Goblin Charbelcher here. Yeah, and I don't mind throwing out a Goblin Charbelcher here. It will not hit a counterspell, and that's fine. Because he's going to go ahead and think that that Stony Silence is going to help him win, and I'm just going to kill it and then tap and win. Did I put the forest into play? No, I didn't. So this is the first forest I'm putting into play. I think what I will end up doing is putting another Charbelcher out. He's going to let it resolve because why not? The hope is now, I know he's got Counterspell backup mana. That I'm going to, from here on, wait till he does anything. Because he can't win the game like this. I mean, he can if he just literally sits on it and does nothing. But then the likelihood of me drawing an extra Nature's Claim goes up. Meanwhile, I'm just going to go keep grabbing my forests like I normally do here. And I'm going to be able to, as soon as I get any of the Recross the Paths or any more of my Nature's Claim, eventually win. So it's not a big deal here. Now, I'm definitely not going to put out my Chancellor of the Spire until he taps out here. And then I'm going to win. Reveal library to all players. 43! And he leaves right away because that's exactly what happens here. Alright guys, so that was the deck in a nutshell, and that's how you can actually win. It definitely does actually take some thought, because you gotta remember how many lands you have at all points in times in your library. You have to figure out that you're trying to reserve the Recross the Paths
to be able to fix your library as you need to. You saw me play through counter spells. I never got the Autumn's Veil, but it's because he gave me an opening. But the Autumn's Veil would have won the game as well if he kept up counter mana and I just Autumn's Veiled it. Chancellor Spire can act as a secondary win condition. The deck's actually really strong. As long as you know what to sideboard. I can't stress that enough. You have to preemptively know what they're going to sideboard in against you so you can fight against it, like I did with the Nature's Claim. He had no clue that was coming because he obviously put it out turn 2 and was like, alright, I'm pretty sure there's no way he can win. And I just waited for him to slip up. And even played dead for once because by putting out more Charbelchers and being like, I can't do anything. But the minute he went for the game life, because again, he could not do anything. Eventually, I would draw more things to win the game with. So he couldn't just sit on his hands the entire game. So eventually I won. And that's exactly what this deck does, is it actually does have a relatively strong plan B of casting Chancellor of the Spires or waiting for them to mess up so that you can go ahead and Charbelcher. Again, since this is a deck that has, like, no play in Modern whatsoever, you can totally just ruin someone because they don't know what to do against it. They're like, okay, well, Stony Silence will definitely take care of it. Well, yes, it does, but I do have cards to counter it. My whole sideboard is to counter what you're doing in your sideboard. So that's the deck. And again, what would you rather have? Would you rather have all your friends hate you by playing this deck, or would you rather, buy a couple footlongs? Personally, I don't like friends, so I want to play this deck, you know? Anyways, guys, I hope you have fun with making your friends rage quit on you.